Las Vegas Sportsline is owned and produced by Vegas Sportsline, LLC. All opinions expressed by the hosts or guests are their own and are not endorsed by either radio station management or any of its advertisers.
It's the Las Vegas Sportsline, presented by CG Technology Sportsbook.
Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
Presented by WagerTalk.com.
And here we go, revving it up for the Thursday edition of the Las Vegas Sportsline on a gorgeous day here in the desert. Not such a gorgeous night last night. We'll talk about that very quickly. Ralph Michaels is here from Wager Talk. Ari Platinum is controlling things on the other side of the console. I'm Dave Cokin. Jason Simbal will be with us from CG Sportsbooks in just a little bit. Our very popular Thursday Behind the Counter edition. And we'll hit the Super Bowl, some of the early props, basketball. No hockey, though, because the NHL goes into its All-Star break, and the Golden Knights limp into their All-Star break on the heels of 2 straight losses. And, Ralph, a real tough one last night because the Golden Knights, if you watched the game last night without knowing the score, you got to think the Golden Knights are winning the game easily. I mean, they dominated Nashville last night. Absolutely up and down the ice, controlled the tempo, controlled the territory. And they lose the game 2-1. Sometimes you run into a hot goaltender, and Juuse Saros was amazing last night for Nashville. Career high 47 saves on 48 shots that he faced, and that's a tough loss. I think the All-Star break comes, therefore, at kind of a good time because that's the kind of loss, and then it's on the heels of the Minnesota loss, where you can get into a slump when you lose a couple like that on home ice.
Yeah, 2-4 the last 6, and it is time for the break for them, and they had won 7-8 straight prior to that run they've been in. So, you look at the losses though: San Jose, Winnipeg, Minnesota, and Nashville. At least they're not losing the horrible teams.
But those are the teams you want to.
Yeah.
You need to beat.
That's where you make the margin.
Yeah.
In the gap. So, at least you could say they haven't lost as one of those 270 favorites against a horrible team.
Well, one team that's lost now is Indiana, as Oladipo completely blows out his knee, basically, and he is gone for the season. We'll find out from Jason Simbal what the adjustment will be on the Pacers. It's got to be fairly substantial. I mean, that's a big – that's the end of their season, quite frankly. I mean, it's not like they were going to win the title. But losing Oladipo basically means your season is – you're just playing out the string at this point.
Yeah, I think probably 1.5 points for a game, but the problem is the stretch of games where – he has become the go-to scorer at times. He was one of those team leaders that, I think in a stretch where you're playing back-to-back games or you're in those tough road trips, it's even more than a couple points losing him, and that's just going to wear on as the season progresses.
And we look at the Rockets and Knicks from last night, and here's a line for you. 61 points, 15 rebounds, 5 steals. I want that side. I'm going to get paid with that team. That's James Harden's line for the Houston Rockets last night. You didn't get paid. Rockets won the game, but they didn't cover the spread against the Knicks. One guy can't do it all, I guess.
The amazing thing is you look at what Harden has done without CP3 and now without Clint Capella. I think the problem now is with 3 guys gone of their top 6. Capella was the only defensive presence in there, and you're going to see a lot of games where the Rockets give up a lot of points, and Harden's going to have to score to get him the wins.
It's almost like the
over's the way to go for the next few while Capella's out.
And it's almost like the opposition saying, all right, well, we can't stop you. You can have yours. We're stopping everybody else. And he outscored the rest of the team last night. He had 61. I think the rest of the team had 57. So that's not going to win you championships. It's as simple as that. You got to balance your offense more. Don't get me wrong, I'm not in any way assigning any blame to Harden. He's establishing his credentials as the clear MVP in the league. But the other guys have got to step up and give him some help. They can't just stand there and watch him. They got by against the Knicks, but you won't get by against the better teams with one guy being the whole team.
No question. Jumping back, Dave, just to the Pacers, one of the sports books in town had the Pacers at 81, dropped them to 200-1 without Oladipo.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty substantial. All right. That covers some of last night's stuff. We've got lots to look at as far as tonight is concerned. We'll do an NBA game and 3 college basketball games in today's edition of the MJ Christensen 4-4.
1, 2, bring it to the 4.
Put them 4s up. Put the 4s up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sports Lines 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3. want more.
And we want to remind you, headquarters for pre-owned Rolexes, fully warranted. Get all the paperwork that's necessary. If you're looking, we're just getting. We always like to do this a few weeks in advance, because then, by the time the holiday actually rolls around, if you listen to the show, there's no excuse for you to be wondering, oh, what do I do now? It's Valentine's Day. Get over there now. The Valentine's Day specials are starting to make their way into the showcases at MJ Christensen. Beat the rush. Get personalized service. Find something that's just going to be perfect for the important one in your life, your significant other, if you will, wife, girlfriend, etc. I mean, what are you going to do? Take her out to a bar or something? You got to do something right for Valentine's Day. Well, there's your ticket to success. MJ Christensen, Boca Park's the location. One store. Family-owned, 75 years plus here in Las Vegas. MJChristensen.com. Check out their Facebook page for more exclusive specials. We will start with Memphis.
Nope, Warriors.
No, I'm sorry, the Warriors. On the road against the Wizards. Well, obviously the Warriors are big favorites in the game, but is this one of those games where the Warriors kind of look at it as, let's just go in and get enough done to get the win and get out of here? I think you got to pick your spots with the Warriors if you're going to lay the spread with them. And tonight would be one of those spots where I wouldn't do it myself. Doesn't mean I want the other side, because they're capable of shellacking anybody. But I don't see this as a game where they're going to be really excited to be out there.
Yeah, the problem is, though, I mean, Curry has an off night like he does, and Thompson goes off, and they still score 130 points.
Now they got Cousins.
Yeah, it is just amazing what they're doing. And the problem with Washington, I mean, with Wall still out, he's been out, 12 games, I believe. But Washington's second last in the NBA in points allowed, allowing 116 points per game. The only team worse is the Atlanta Hawks. The number's 235, but the way the Warriors are sharing the ball and the way Washington's giving up points.
Well, and look, Washington's best shot, run up and down the court, have some fun, entertain the fans, and maybe you get lucky.
Yeah.
So why not? I can see why the over.
Wizards have gone 4-0 as a home dog.
Okay. Big number in that game. Memphis and Temple's an interesting matchup. Tigers are showing some improvement under Penny Hardaway. The Owls are having a pretty good year under Fran Dunphy. A lot of people think this might be the last year for Dunphy. Temple's got a really big game at home on Sunday against Cincinnati. This is one of those potential look-ahead spots where I don't like playing the favorite. I would look at the dog first here.
Well, I lean the favorite, that's because Temple's off the home loss to Penn on Saturday.
That's true.
And you look at Memphis, and Penny Hardaway came in, and they had a very, very weak schedule. He wanted to get his team some enthusiasm. He wanted to get some wins. They only played 3 road games. Their best wins, Memphis's best wins on the season were South Dakota State and Yale in double overtime. With that situation, this being only their 4th road game, the only team they beat was Tulane by 3 or 4, and they were laying 10.
Yeah.
So because of those spots and Temple off the home loss, I do like Temple in this spot.
Okay, that sounds like a good analysis to me. How about NC State and Louisville? Now, NC State going to be pressing all over the court with that frantic, frenetic defense that they play. Boy, Louisville is a good-looking basketball team right now. Chris Mack has this team on target to make some noise come NCAA tournament time. I mean, Louisville, if you're looking for a dark horse to get to the Final Four, boy, I think Louisville's got a chance. They just keep getting better. This is a real good game tonight. I mean, I think it's the best game in the schedule, personally. If there's one I want to watch tonight, and since there's no NHL, I will be watching college basketball tonight. I'm going to make sure I'm on this game from a spectator standpoint. I think this could be a lot of fun.
Now, I really had this Louisville team underrated, the way they've been playing. Now, one thing I do like to fade teams that just popped into the top 25 for the first time. They just got in there at 23 and 24. Yep. But I can't back NC State with their point guard Martell Johnson out for a 3rd straight game. Now, NC State probably misses their point guard less than most teams because so many guys can handle the ball on their court, but still going into Louisville, into the Yum Yum Center without their main point guard, I would have to go Louisville or pass in this game.
And Michigan State will be at Iowa in a Big Ten matchup. The Hawkeyes are having a pretty good season. I think better than a lot of people projected. Michigan State is doing pretty much what was expected. This is a monster roster, certainly a Final Four level roster, at least Elite Eight. And very impressed last week with their ability to go on the road to Lincoln. And I know Nebraska is not a team that wins a lot of big games. They've got that resume, but they still have the nation's longest home court winning streak. And Michigan State went in there and said, nope, not anymore, boys. Welcome to the loss column. And I think they're going to be geared up to do the same thing tonight against the Hawkeyes. It's a tough assignment for Iowa to win this one.
You know, they played each other back in December when the Big Ten played those couple games, and Michigan State handled them. But, you know, since that time, Iowa now 16-3, number 19 in the polls. Iowa's one of those teams that returned all 5 starters from last year, and they progressed and been better. But I'll tell you what, I cannot play against the Michigan State that's 14-2 their last 16 games. And think about this. They're doing it without all Josh Lonford, their number 2 scorer, who was their number 4 scorer last year. He'll be back next week, and then it's a whole nother level for the Sparty.
There's your 4 at 4 from MJ Christensen. Time for us to be joined by Jason Simbal. He does it every Thursday with us from CG Sportsbooks. What's going on, Jason? How are you?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
Good. Hey, you know, before we get to anything else, now the Super Bowl, if you haven't made your plans yet for the Super Bowl, it's getting, let's just say you're a little bit late. Not to say you can't still get involved in something, but the idea when these big events comes around is to plan ahead. And that's why we're going to mention this now. Coming up for a little March Madness, hoops and hops at the Cosmopolitan. This sounds like a lot of fun. I was reading up on it, and you can explain to everybody what it's all about and how they can get involved.
Hey, this is by far the best March Madness party I've ever been a part of. It's at the Cosmopolitan. You can check it out on the Cosmopolitan's website or just type in Hoops and Hops Cosmo in Google and check it out. But it's incredible. So they take the ballroom. I mean, this thing must be 100,000 square feet of space, right? It's literally gigantic. They set up basketball hoops and hardwood floors so you can, like, shoot around while you're watching games. There's food and bars everywhere. There's more projector screens and big TVs than I've ever seen in one time. It's incredibly awesome, so certainly check that out. It goes on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of that first 3 days of March Madness.
And what you've got, like, you can, if you get in early as far as reserving your spot, I guess you can get better seating, and then there's general admission for the latecomers. Is that the way it works?
Yeah, there's different types of tickets. So there's general admission, which basically gets you in, and then you can pay for your food and drinks and sit anywhere. Then there's, like, some upgraded seating where you actually get, like, really cool couches right in front of the TVs.
That's the way to
with
do
some
it.
better stuff. So it's the way to do it. You can check it all out on their website, but it's super.
Yeah, and do it early, because if you wait around, there's not going to be any space left. It's just, these events sell out. This is for people who are going to do March Madness, Vegas style. I mean, this sounds like something absolutely out of sight. All right, let's get to some bad news. That's good news. Bad news, Oladipo gone for the Pacers. And what are you adjusting on the Pacers as far as power rating and therefore a spread per game?
Yeah, that was a pretty big bummer. Anytime you have a guy like that certainly seems like, you know, he's incredibly improving and you know, really is basically the key guy on the team went out. You know, I still think they're a playoff team. I don't know exactly how far they can go anymore. You know, they're at 50-1 now to win the East alone, which is obviously quite a huge adjustment. I mean, they were at 22-1 prior to the injury. That's to win the East. So, you know, to win the whole thing, it was a really big adjustment. They're 100-1 now to win the championship. So, you know, clearly they don't really have much of a shot there. On a day-in, day-out basis, it depends on kind of who they're playing. But, you know, he's worth, you know, definitely a couple points to the spread for sure.
On to the Super Bowl, and we'll go behind the counter on this one. We already know, I think everybody knows, basically, that it's kind of lopsided. But you can explain to us how lopsided it is on the side, and then we'll get into the other stuff as well.
Yeah, it's pretty lopsided. 75% of the bets are on the Pats. Over 90% of the money is on the Pats. We, like I think everybody else, opened with the incorrect favorite here, which was the Rams as a 1-point favorite. And then the Pats money card started really coming in. The majority of the action that we took on New England was -2. So, you know, they're 2.5 now. That was really the main reason. It went to 2.5. at no point have we been close to going to 3. Some people have asked me that on Twitter, so not really at that point yet. And I don't really think it's going to happen, but I don't want to say for sure, but I would doubt it. The Rams money has started to come in a little bit more over the past few days. The ticket count was 85%